I want to wish my wife and believe it or not, my mother-in-law. They were born on the same day. Okay,
Wow.
What are the chances? 1 in 365. So happy birthday, love you both, and look forward to celebrating birthday together.
And you're also loving the defense right now.
Yeah, we're running around. We're running around. We got a lot in on defense. We pretty much have all of our situations and we're just trying to clean things up right now. And it's a challenge right now because of the looks that the offense is giving us and some of the things that, in terms of us getting aligned right and executing and communicating the calls, it's far from perfect right now, but, the sense of urgency is, we have a sense of urgency right now on defense, and you can see it because we have competition at several positions. So as long as, our guys keep that mindset, and we got to continue to challenge them, to bring it every day because there's no days off right now.
You've had some good young players. How about the showing of Daquan Dunn?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We saw him live, in high school workout. We saw it right away. The talent that he has. He's the same guy. I mean, all this is, it's 50 first dates right now. So a lot of these looks are, and a lot of these defenses are brand new. So knowing what to do, how to do it, and why we're doing it, it's still new to him. But he's learning. He picks up things really fast, and when you have a lot of ability, that makes up for a lot of mistakes too. So he's a guy that's continuing to develop, and we're gonna need him to help us this year.
How assignments sound would you say the guys have been relative to like average in a camp?
That's a great question. I think this is different because we're ahead than we are in most camps, but we only added 2 guys from the spring. So, our 3 and into our 4 deep, these guys have been hearing the same thing for the last 9 months. So it's a little different. Whereas before you'd have 15 newcomers, along with some 10 more walk-ons. You'd have 25 newcomers just on defense alone. Right now we got 2 newcomers that weren't here in January. So that you can see that, like the teaching progression, not having to start back like square one in fall camp like you've had to do in years past for some of the guys deeper in your depth chart. It's helped us, be able to really hone in on situations and why we do what we do.
Does that lead to more comfortability? Like, obviously, I have 1s and 2s, but just kind of mixing and matching guys, when they come in and out, just because you said their familiarity with the defense and what they want to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is you'll see, some of our 3s. Some of our 3s working with the 1s, and some of our, our 2s are with the 4s, and so we're working guys in different groups, and we're really trying to mix and match and put pressure on everybody to learn our defense, and that's what we have. We feel like we have layers to our defense right now, guys that are experienced, guys that are still getting experience, and guys with no experience, and we're just trying to get those guys up to speed. So if we need them at some point, and you well know in the last 4 years since we've been here, we've had guys that haven't even played or run down on a kickoff, starting the game for us. So those guys got to be ready.
Brian Kenny was just talking about how this is the biggest and most deep D-line room you guys have had since being here. What's impressed you about that group so far?
Well, what's good is the selflessness of the group. I mean, they understand, what we're trying to do. You had CJ Fight. I think he's averaged something like 34 snaps a game over the last 2 years, and he's gotten postseason honors the last 2 years. You don't need to play 55, 60 snaps a game, and it really ties into our philosophy of, we want to be a team, if you look at our defense, that we are sound, we play really hard, we tackle well, and we get after the football. And in order to tackle well and get after the football, you got to play hard. And in order to play hard, you got to be fresh, and you got to be in shape. And so our D-line, we like to rotate those guys in because pursuit is just what we do. And we like to say it's what we do, it's how we live, and that's, effort's the number one thing. If you turn on the tape, you're going to see a team that plays really hard.
The defense did really well in the red zone in the scrimmage. Is that something you guys have kind of worked on and honed in on?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we finished end of the regular season last year, top 10 in the country in red zone defense, and that's something we make an emphasis of. It's situational, so we try to. It was able to really come together last year in terms of really making our red zone defense work, and we hope we can continue to build upon that.
You really feel like with the talent level of this defense, are you able maybe to open the playbook more than you probably expected, I guess, 9 months ago when you were returning only 2 starters?
Yeah, everything is mental. So, opening up the playbook is really relative to what we feel like. How can we do the same things by either looking different or maybe tweaking something. So, you know, we don't want to take away from our fundamentals and, again, playing hard and having great leverage on the football and great cup and understanding how to do your 1/11th. And, you know, so we are going to tweak things, but, you know, we don't really stray from what we do on defense. Our principles is what we're going to live by.
Brian, what's the best part about working with Kenny?
You know, the best part, I mean, hands down, and this is one, just his authenticity. Like, he is truly authentic. There's no try to be a certain way because he's the head coach, you know, and try to act a certain way. He's who he is, and that's who he is. Who you guys see is who he is every day, and the consistency of that is something that's really rare, and you see it. There's a lot of people who feel like they have to act a certain way in certain roles, and he's definitely not that. He's a football guy through and through. He cares about the players. He values his staff, and, you know, I mean, I could add that, you know, he really is. You work with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is constantly going to be talking about football. You can get a text at any hour of the night. You can get a text about football, about a concept, about something, and he's, you know, he's made me a better coach, and he makes the coaches and everybody around us better.
What's it like to see him get so fired up about the defense sometimes?
Say it again.
What's
I'm
it
sorry.
like to see him get so fired up about the defense?
Oh, I love it, but it's a double-edged sword, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's fired up, but at the same time, he's trying to motivate him. I mean, he doesn't want guys to take a step backwards, and you know, again, like every good coach, you know, you're going to say it with a measure of caution, saying, listen, you know, learn how to take compliments as the same way that you learn how to take criticism. Like, and you got to be able to take both and be able to handle both and consistently move forward from it, you know. So, and those are our best players. Like, they listen to criticism, they listen to compliments, and they listen to people when they're on the wagon train, and they, you know, and how you listen to people when they're off. So, you know, just being consistent on defense, I think that's what he wants, and that's what we're striving for.
How do you feel about your safety nickel group and Lyric Rawls especially? Like, what does he bring to the fold?
Well, Lyric brings a lot of leadership, a lot of just kind of old man confidence, been there, done that. And you can see him, just the consistency and the work ethic, you know, the habits that he brings every day. You know, he's a special dude, and you know, still waters run deep. So he's not a real emotional guy, you know, but you can see that, you know, the guy's been there and done a lot of this before, and he's lived a lot of life and had a lot of life experience. So having a guy like that, it's kind of an old head in the room. He just gets a lot of respect because people know that he's a truly genuine guy.
And that group overall, the safeties and nickels. And
Yeah, I mean, you got a group full of really talented dudes that can play multiple positions, and Coach Gibby is doing a great job just molding those guys and teaching them, hey, listen, we're going to play the best 3 or 4 guys in the back end every single day. I mean, every single game, and you better know the concepts back there. And he's teaching those guys every one of those concepts so we can be able to plug guys in, and hopefully be, you know, a little more multiple in our personnel groups because of our depth of the safety room.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate it.